So today we have Mai Chin, who is the visual artist behind Underwater, and we are going to talk about your inspirations, which I'm really interested to find out more about, and kind of why you were interested in applying for Syntropy as well. So first of all, Underwater, let's start with that. So what was your inspiration behind that video?
All right, so the inspiration that I got from Underwater was actually I've been experimenting with cymatics recently, and I've been incorporating light into that as well because I work with light as my main medium to just play around with in all sorts of aspects like photography, videos, or light and shadows works. So I happens to be researching on like cymatics, and then I just started to experiment it around, and that's how the visual came about. It's actually raw. I do notice that a lot of artwork on Syntropy page are done digitally. I mean, this was also eventually manipulated digitally after, but it was actually done like real time recording of the way the light moves, like using the way the sound waves moves the light. So I use reflection of the light onto the speaker with a mirror on it, and then it creates the reflection of the light. Actually, sorry, for this case, it wasn't mirror, it was water. It was water, so water is reflective. And then that's how the visual came about. And then I later manipulated digitally, not very heavily, just mirror them on Premiere Pro, mirror them, and then to create a mirror effect, then eventually expand it to a kaleidoscopic visual. So it slowly builds up like that. And the inspiration behind it, I would have to say that when I look at it, the medium of water, it's also very visceral, very liquid. It's just very flowy. So it took me back to the time when I would go swimming and when I go diving. It's just very peaceful, very serene for me. I feel like it's very meditative at the same time and refreshing at the same time. So overall, a very therapeutic experience. So when I dive under, I feel like all the noises above the water is muted, and I can hear myself more. I feel like the internal sound is more amplified versus the external sound. So it really mutes the external sound and it amplifies the internal sound that I can hear myself better, and thus I feel more connected with myself. So it's just that kind of feeling where I feel like it's very meditative, and I feel like in order to relax and breathe and elevate, it's a kind of meditative feeling. So I feel that when I'm underwater. So that's how it came about. That's why I use water instead of mirror for this work, because it's to do with the water as the medium that translate that visuals of what we hear of the sound. And the sound, of course, was produced by JezTrek. Which was very impressively accompanied with the visual very, very well. I'm very impressed by that. And I really love how it builds up together with it as well. Yeah.
Oh, I've got a few things as you were talking, and I was like, I wanted to be like, ooh, ooh. So mirror, like when people say, oh, it's a mirror reflection, it's it just, that word came to me as you were talking, because I really love that you use water as your paintbrush, and you work with the elements. And there's something really special when you're working with something that you can't really control, where you have to allow it to be, and it's like a collaboration on the most purest level in my eyes, because you have to, like water, be flexible and free flowing and kind of embrace the things that you weren't expecting, and be surprised and kind of delighted about the mistakes. And JezTrek's outside of this, that title, the title of that music is called Presence. And when you were talking about being when you're underwater and you have that that stillness that comes up or comes down. It just it kind of it syncs up so well with what the music is also kind of enabling the user to feel as well. So yeah, it was a great pairing, and I'm glad it works so well. And I would love to. Do you have any pictures of the of your process of filming the water and before you started obviously editing it in Premiere Pro?
Yeah. Yes, I have, but they are on a phone, so I don't know if it's going to be very sharp or visible because I use a Samsung phone to just do a quick behind the scenes shots,
Yeah,
and
I'd love
it's
to have
actually
seen
a
that
very
setup with like the mirror and like how that would have looked.
I could provide I do have quite a number of those, but for underwater in particular, it was just I think a video. It was in the dark because it has to be recorded in the dark space, and it's actually just done in my room. So
That's cool.
I just hope no judgment on the setup.
No, not at all.
If you want me to be honest, what I used to do the setup, it's actually dark. So that was like helping me to kind of not have to um expose what I use. So I actually use a shoe rack as a base, and then I use a portable speaker. Because a shoe base, you can like choose what level you want to. You can remove the levels. Does that make sense? A shoe rack.
Yeah.
So it's a those kind of you can dismantle. So I just wanted just the right level, and then I just placed the portable speaker on that, and then I just it's actually a waterproof portable speaker, so I just add water onto that, and then I just use this DIY laser stand that I just converting using a camera tripod. So my camera tripod, like there's this thing where you can use to move around your camera, right? So the thing came off like at the end, so it was a perfect opportunity for me to insert the laser through it. So it's really a lot of improvisation. I really love doing that, but I know most artists they might actually get like proper materials. But for me, sometimes I like to play around with this thing because I think it's kind of the fun that I have in the process of things. And like, okay, this is pretty funny. Like I just find it really funny. So I would insert the laser in and just adjust it to the speaker where there was water on it, and that's how the reflections will bounce off the wall, but the wall I would use like a black foam board, so it's dark and it's smooth, and then I just use my camera to record that, and it's perfect because the tripod where I use for the laser, also I can put a camera on it and have like a straight angle. So I've been like just experimenting and having fun with the what I have in my home. Like, I was like, okay, I just want to play around and it works out. So I was like, that's great. And then I just go on Premiere Pro, just adjust a bit of the lighting and just do the mirroring. And then, yeah, it's just all really fun. I think that art shouldn't be too it shouldn't be perceived as something like an expensive hobby. I think it should be a hobby that allows you to not just have fun, but like just be yourself. Because personally, when I was young, also like as a kid, I realized that how I approach art is a lot of trials and errors, a lot of just doing silly things, and then it came into something. So how like the setup is, but visually I could try to find a photo besides the video, and perhaps I could email
I have to do it in the light, so it's actually not. I know the pain of having to try and.
I can recreate it.
But only if you're doing it anyway. It sounds like actually you've got a template there to do quite a few interesting things. Like obviously you got the laser, and then like I've got like, and my mind's just going like, oh, you could do this, and you could try it with that. Well, as in, you know, like different colored lasers, and but it'd be cool to see the setup, like kind of the, you know, the raw kind of setup of like, this is what it looks like.
I can create that.
That's really cool. I know how hard it is to document light as an artist, because you either have to take a picture, kind of a fuzzy picture of what it's like in the dark, or kind of lights on and the whole illusion is kind of taken away. and then never unless you have a very expensive camera and you can like you can document it in the dark well, you kind of it's only ever going to be the final project once you've edited it that people see, which is again quite conceptually interesting. Like the creation process, like it's only artists that knows the secrets of how it's actually set up, which is quite cool. And
I did share a bit on my story actually, but it's not entirely clear what I use. So the only thing that I usually show is just the speaker and the laser, but I didn't really show like, oh, what bass I use, and because I don't know if it's gonna be too funny for some people, because I know some artists
like to use everyday objects around your house to create something, because the idea, isn't it, that that's kind of got the wealth behind it. And when you've got such a meaningful idea like that, the objects like kind of come alive, and it's like, come to me, and it's like you can, and it's part of it, and it's really cool, and it's something that people, you don't need to go to the shop and order things. Like just go around your house and see what you can do to bring this idea to life.
I hope, cool. I hope people embrace more of that, like heartedness approach to art making, and less about always trying to get the most expensive gears. I mean, if it's necessary, I think investment is definitely good to do that. But if it's just experimental stage, maybe you can just try to play around. Otherwise, in the near future, if you like artists wanted to invest, I think that is a more wiser decision to do than to start off sometimes, because you might not really understand. Because at first, I think what's more important is to really understand like how the materials work, like for my case, how light, how reflection works on here and there, and then maybe later on I can perhaps get like a pedestal once I see like, okay, these kind of setup could work, and I can get like a proper pedestal or something that can like go up and down, things like that. Yeah,
it's not letting the materials hold you back. What's that quote? But never, it's like never blame the craftsman never blames his tools, or like the artist never blames their tools, because it's how you use things, not what you use most of the time. But like you say, like having good equipment, of course, can make life a lot easier, but it's not the reason behind it. It's not the reason why it makes it good art. So that's really cool that you have that.
Like just have fun and embrace what you have, and eventually you can always finesse later. There's always a chance for that. Yes. I believe in that.
Same. I've always like kind of the few times, very few times that I have like had a good piece of equipment, there's something, I don't know, psychologically that happens where because you have it and it's a lot easier now, it kind of takes the joy out of the process, because and it's part of it.
Yes.
So that's really cool.
And especially when you look back, you will laugh at it as well.
Like
how it started, how it's going. It makes it fun,
and it instills confidence that you can keep making, that you can keep making your ideas. That you don't need, I need to wait for that to come in or this person to do that, and you can just get going straight away.
Yeah,
that's cool. And the other thing I wanted to ask is, kind of how you found Syntropy, and what made you want to submit a sample to the core.
Oh, all right. So actually, I came about it through Zealous. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, love Zealous. Yeah.
So I was have been participating in a few social causes. Would it be okay if I plug them in?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, please.
Okay, that's great. I really support what they stand for. So same for Syntropy. So I have been doing related social cause with ASEAN Youth Forum, and then Artists for Digital Rights Network, but they are all within Southeast Asian region, which I think is really cool. Like, still able to connect across border. Like, I think that's one thing about the internet that I really appreciate. And also, of course, locally, Mental X Singapore, which raised awareness on mental health. And another was DECO, which was a startup by university students in my country. They wanted to raise funds for children in need. So doing these, working with these organizations really give me meaning to wanting to create art more, and it kind of makes me see how art can create like a ripple effect. It inspired me to wanted to do more, because I was like, this is direction that I do want to take more. I feel like it gives a lot of purpose and meaning to it. And then when I came across Syntropy Gonzalez, I was like, wow, okay, I'm going to give it a go. Because I think that promoting well-being, promoting using art and not just exclusive to visual, but also sound, and very interdisciplinary, very collaborative kind of approach as well. I think it's quite unique. I have actually not come across this kind of idea or this kind of organization that has done this yet, at least. So I thought that was really unique, and I thought like if I could support this and be a part of the community, I thought it would have been really, really like meaningful for me. So I decided to submit a work in response to the theme. So Elevate was the category, and yes, I was actually very I wasn't expecting to get my work selected, because I thought like there's a lot of artists out there who did like amazing works. So I think I'm very, very shocked and surprised, but also very, very grateful to be able to contribute into such great cause like this, where it's not just about the art, it's not just about appreciating the art, but also ultimately like reflect to the audience, resonate back to them as they watch and they listen to the soundscape, or as they watch the visual. So I really, I'm really grateful for the opportunity. So that's how I came across Syntropy, but I went a little bit off track, my bad. But yes, I just overall I didn't expect to be able to even contribute to it. But yes.
That's so cool. Like, it's so interesting to find out about the artists behind the work, because there's, even though like they're so different in what they make, there's always a core, like kind of like this golden thread that strands us all together, which is this fascination and this needs for to understand like art and well-being, but on so many different levels. And that's why we have a lot of artists that have light as a concept behind with their work, because that's ultimately what it is. Because without light, you can't see anything. Art is a visual thing, and so it's so cool, and it's so lovely to kind of have that repeated to me, and it's really nice to hear. So thank you thank you for that.
Oh yeah, the various interpretations. Yeah,
like the spectrum of light, and like these different shards of how people work with it, and through their experience and their process and their approaches. And it's beautiful. Mai Chin, what have you got going on at the minute? Have you got any exciting projects or any works in the work?
So definitely more experimentations with cymatics. Recently, I kind of expanded a little bit more to data sonification, but I wouldn't say it's 100% like accuracy of sonification. But I just started using like this app called Voices, and just how it works is it will analyze like a grayscale of an image, or even a live real-time recording, and it will produce like different types of sound. You can manipulate it and all that. If it's hard to imagine, I could spell it out, VOSIS. So that's the app that I've been playing with, and I incorporated with my laser light work, and I was hoping to expand it more. So I've been writing in proposals for that, and also collaborations with local artists or local businesses. I was hoping to be able to expand more on this area of cymatic series experimentations. So that's something I guess I've been working on and can be look forward to uh, pose on, and perhaps you guys could have a look at that. Yeah, but
100%. I've
it's,
never
it's
heard of anything like that before.
sorry.
That's I would love to. I've never heard of that before.
Oh,
Um,
data sonification.
with the app and the grayscale and that sounds amazing.
Oh, you can totally check it out. It's available on App Store, Play Store. You can play around with it. There's a free version, but I bought the paid version so I can play around.
You got the good stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, it does. It allows you to also kind of control a little bit of the sound. Like you can change the octave, you can change the chords, you can change the even the contrast or the lighting of the image or real-time camera recording. So it gives you some control, but at the same time, not entirely. So I think it's really fun to explore with in conjunction with my light semantics work. So I would connect this app to my speaker, and then the speaker, and then the mirror, and then the laser. So it's a little hard to visualize, but I do have it on my website actually, and I have yet to post about it also. But it's on my website. So if you would like to maybe have a look at what it looks like, it's under installation cymatic series. So there are, like I've done a bit of that for an exhibition. So I was hoping to expand more because that was just an experimental, I would say, level still. So yeah, I would look forward to developing that, and with in collaboration with local artists and local businesses.
Yeah. So how do you see collaborating with local businesses with that?
So I had some contacts. One of them was actually my boss when I was in school. So I used to I used to work for him. He does it's okay if I plug in, right?
Yes, yeah, of course.
Alcoholics, it's a local business actually. He does body marbling, fluorescent, like with fluorescent paint. So he does like marbling of fluorescent paint, and you can actually dip your hands or your arms into it, and then it would create like this really cool marbling effect on your skin, transfer on your skin, and it's safe.
So cool.
Yes, and it's fluorescent, so under black light it would be like neon color. So I would have to say, like, he kind of inspired me to explore into the materiality of light, but mostly impressionism, and then having to work for him even more kind of like fall into place for me to go towards his direction. So I was hoping to collaborate with him. He works on liquid light recently as well. He's been experimenting on liquid light, so meaning you do like drip of paints onto like a petri dish, and then it can create like really interesting visual. So imagine with cymatics, with the vibration of sound and then the light, so we can envision that into some kind of a projection, like a backdrop. So that's what something we've looked. Yes.
Sorry, as you were talking about, I've you an overhead projector with acetate sheet. So
is it like a visualizer or?
Yes, it's an old school projector. So before digital projectors, and it's like a box of light, and then with a mirror, and then you put an acetate sheet on top. So I did some experiments with that where you drop like fizzy drinks, and you can like, obviously the fizz is magnified and it moves across, but you can also drop whatever you like, and like kind of move it and sandwich it with other acetates, and just play it and put shadows on top and different objects. I'm just thinking when you were saying that, like, that could be a really cool way to visualize the two things together, because then it projects it automatically, and they're really accessible because it's old tech, which I'm also a big fan of.
Yeah, it's so cool, like being able to utilize something more traditional. I wouldn't say it's traditional in the sense that it's not an advanced technology equipment, but it's old school. So in a way, it's like incorporating that with a new media thing. So I think it's really going to come up really interesting. Thank you so much for even sharing about that. It sounds scientific as well. I think something about working with light as well. It's always, it's quite intersectional with science. Like playing with materials in particular is really not independent of science. So I really like that as well. So even about the aurora borealis that you were talking about, I only knew the scientific fact about it. I didn't know about the Greek mythology backstory about it.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah,
it's very cool. It's
it's
very
a
cool.
beautiful
Like light in
story.
general as a medium.
It is.
Like there's so many ways to learn about it.
Yeah, there is. Well, it makes up everything. And like
Yeah.
not only it's a kind of a physical representation of what the concept of well-being is,
Yes.
and that's why the aurora is such a great metaphor for that as well. And yeah, the story of Aurora, where she sprinkling space dust on
Mm.
each dawn for all the world to see, kind of this magical garden that she exposes. I'll have to look. I'll have to read it properly into the story, but
Me too.
it
Me
is
too.
magical. Oh, my chin
I
has
have
been.
yet to experience it myself.
Yeah, same.
Oh,
Yeah, I've never have. One day,
same here.
Until then, I'll just we can look online and wonder.
The Zoom background.
Yeah, that's it.
Stick to the Zoom background for now.
Oh, my chin, it's been such a pleasure talking with you.